want her to feel like there's pressure to try.
But she loves
and
it.
fill those shoes. I mean, she enjoys performing, but she also has other artistic pursuits. I mean, now she's starting to write stories, and she draws and illustrates. And I was in the UK, and then she was like, we were on FaceTime, and she asked, I've been writing this thing, can I read it to you? I said, sure. Not expecting anything, because it's like, I don't know what this is. And then the next thing I knew, I'm invested in this story. It's like her vocabulary is so wide, so that the words that she chooses are perfect for what she's trying to achieve. I'm like, this is really, really good. And so now I'm seeing, okay, so she illustrates and she draws and she also writes. I'm like, what could you possibly do with this? Babe, you can turn this into some sort of a graphic novel.
Wow.
You can turn this into a novel with illustrations. You can, we got to show this to one of our friends who actually writes for a living, just to get their opinion. So she's like, you really think it's good? I said, yeah, I really think it's good. And I most certainly did not write like that when I was that age. So there's something very creative in there. So I don't want to lock her into like just one art form. I want all of it to be open to her.
So,
as she gets older.
So it's hard, because it's like, I'm thinking now as when you were young and you were doing Annie and you had your mom as well.
Yeah.
Being there, supporting you. Do you see yourself like a Mami Ligaya in terms of...
She's pretty headstrong on her own.
I
mean, her personality, I think, is more like my mom's, in that she's pretty matapang and stubborn. And when she knows what she wants, she knows what she wants, and that's what she tries to get. So I can be in the background and very supportive. Yeah. Very different from how my mom does things. That kid really has a mind of her own. All I can do is just
allow her, support her. I love you no matter what you do.
Exactly.
And your mom's birthday is coming up.
Yeah, August 14th.
Yes, and how's she doing? I saw her earlier and she looks fantastic.
I know she looks fantastic. I mean, I don't know yet, because we have a bunch of Sweeney Todd prep, and then I think one of those days falls on her birthday. So I mean, when she turned 80, we had this big celebration, and we invited a whole bunch of her friends. I think for this coming one, which she turns 82, I think it'll just be something simple, even if it's just dinner with her 2 children and their families, and that's it. I think that's all she wants, and maybe a couple of other friends.
And also for you, do you see yourself coming out maybe with a new album or maybe even a movie? I mean, I know a lot of people, you've done your Yellow Rose.
Yes.
Well, I know. Are you ready to dive into a Pinoy movie?
I don't know. I looked at my schedule for next year and I realized...
It's already booked? Is it already booked?
Oh my! And I was telling my mother, because we were trying to find a slot for some other thing that we were planning, and I said, my year is booked. My 2020 is already booked. Wow. I get booked that far in advance.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, Annie. You know,
I'm happy, and it means that I don't have to think about what am I doing next month. It's my manager's doing a pretty good job.
So
No, not for right now. I don't think so.
How about like another movie in the States, or
I think it would,
if it can.
If there's another, I mean, it depends. I want to see first how Yellow Rose does commercially, and if we feel that there is a demand or that there's an interest in my returning to film work, then maybe we'll entertain something. But you know, for me, it was an important story that needed to be told, and I became a part of it because it was from a very Filipino and Filipino-American perspective. So it was, all right, let's do this, because it's not political in nature necessarily, so people can form their own opinions as to what the film is, but it does show compassion from sides sometimes that you may not expect it to come from, which is interesting too.
And speaking of like a political and, you know, trying to form your own opinion, I mean, people seem to be very opinionated these days on social media.
Right.
The
and that's
good
fine.
and the bad. So what would you advise people, maybe your daughter or maybe other people going through all of these, do I just turn it off?
Here's the funny thing, because I mean, there are a lot of, and I read this on the news, there are a lot of young people, like we're talking younger than 15, who commit suicide because they're being bullied, and a lot of the bullying happens online. And it's territory that a lot of parents don't know how to navigate through. It's like, I mean, you have what, you have five kids?
And that's my biggest fear, my biggest worry.
Yeah. And I think we're limiting Nicole's online presence.
Okay.
And she's not on Facebook, she's not on Twitter, and my husband and I are very aware of how toxic the internet can be. But we're also older people, so if it's like, I don't want to listen to that, I don't want to look at that, we can choose to. And sometimes younger people may lack the strength or the inner strength to shut it off. And then there are also bullies that are relentless, and then it slides into their text messages or their instant messages and direct or private messages, and it's like, so for the poor kid, the only escape is escape from life. So it's like, what do you
do? We just shut off? I mean, what do we do?
I mean, I think for parents, I think at that point the authorities might need to come in. You might need to report some of the harassment to the police at that point. And yes, turning off the social media should be helpful. And there were people who say that they were bullied in school, but that at 3 p.m. once school let out, it was over.
Yeah.
But not
to say it's like 24 hours, and unfortunately sometimes it's not even the kids, but maybe it's even the parents.
And sometimes
or adults.
Yes, and sometimes it's adults behaving in such an infantile manner, and it's like, what do you do? I mean, it helps that when your own real life existence with flesh and blood human beings, when those interactions and that support system is healthy, I think so. One needs to surround oneself with love and with positive energy and people who I guess can be compared to rainbows and unicorns in your life. I mean, when you're an adult, it's easy to say, there's always going to be negativity, and that's fine. And
I guess because you also lived through the time without social media.
Yeah,
so you're grounded.
Have a much healthier
Yes, I think so.
Perspective.
Yeah.
But a lot of young people, like from the age of 5 or 6, they're already on Facebook, and so you're just asking for trouble at that point. So I think one thing that helps is to keep your kids away from social media until they're strong enough to handle even the criticisms. And I think for parents also for parents to prepare their children that sometimes not everybody's going to like you, and that's okay.
That's okay.
Not everybody's going to jive with what you believe in. Not everyone is going to be in line with your belief system, and it doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make you bad. It just is what it is.